And now with this 3-1 win versus England, India has set up a date with the Kiwis at Lord's. Though Virat Kohli had initially said that for a team like India that takes every test match seriously, it is not a motivation to play for the World Test Championship final place. But now he wants to give it all to show that Team India truly deserve the #1 test side tag.
Probably if you look at the last 2 years, 2.5 years, how we've played, we deserve to be in that final.
I'm really happy as an individual, as a vice captain, that our journey, not only in championship, but before that also we played some good cricket, and that's the reward we got.
We played cricket well in India, we played cricket well outside India as well. We were put under pressure, we were put in that difficult situation many a times, and we responded well to those situations, which is why we stand here qualified for the final.
For people like Puji, me, Jinx, Ishant, a lot of us who didn't play the last 2019 World Cup, this is like literally the World Cup.
I cannot say how proud I am of my Indian cricket team going through this tough period and qualifying for the World Test Championship against all odds. When you go from #1 to #3, sitting in your bedroom, not playing cricket, and then you qualify #1 in every department, top of the table, ICC rankings, percentage ranking. Tomorrow there might be some other working that comes out. I think we'll be #1 there also.
Charu, coming back to you, playing cricket in bio-bubble situation and being there for about 7 months now wouldn't have been easy. Would you say the success of the team basically lay in managing all these team members in this situation in COVID times?
Well, perhaps, but I'm, willing to contend that all teams were managed well in their bio bubbles, and everybody has to play in the last, who did play in the last few months were in a bio bubble. So they've all managed themselves as well as they could. But I think ultimately it's down to ability, all-round ability, not just playing at home and doing very well as India have, but also overseas. And they have come back from some very tough situations. So there was all that talk about resilience and the toughness of the new Indian, or certainly the new Indian cricketer. And I think the Indian team reflects all of that. I mean, they've refused to be fazed by loss or one odd bad innings. They've come back very strongly. So I think it's much more a question of having the right personnel, and particularly, of course, faster bowlers for overseas conditions, and of course, spinners there and certainly in India. And our top order may not have always performed, but we batted deep, and that has helped as well. So, as Daljit said, an overall sort of improvement in fitness, which is always so important in top-level sport these days.
Andrew, I asked Charu about this bio-bubble situation. Would you say that situation affected the English team a bit? There was bubble trouble. They wanted to get out of the bubble. Some went home. The English captain said that Moeen Ali went home, chose to go home. All of that talk around the bubble situation, would you think that could have been a little bit of a distraction also?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, the Moeen Ali situation was a bit of a misspeak from Root, because it had been agreed in advance with all of England's white ball players who play in the Test side that they would all get a break at some stage, and I have sympathy with that. I mean, I saw a very amusing clip with Shastri yesterday, just sort of bubble. He was basically going completely stir crazy after 7 months in the bubble, and England don't want that, because they've got end up with this. They go back home. They've got the entire bubble season in England. Then they got the Ashes. They've got the World T20 in between that. They've got very important series against India coming up in the white ball. They're on the road endlessly. So I do have sympathy with the need to rotate the players and give them a break. But you can't argue that it was not ideal for England to be missing Joss Buttler for the last 3 tests, to have Johnny Bairstow flying home when he was in some sort of form in Sri Lanka, then come back and get 3 ducks in 4 innings in India. Sam Curran, I've already mentioned, I think he'd been very useful on this pitch, certainly as an all-rounder batting down in those conditions. You can go on, and the Moeen Ali situation with Dom Bess's poor form is another one. But I don't honestly see how you could do it differently without breaking your best players. I mean, England have got a very, very good side. Let's not forget, Shastri's very proud of India being #1 in Tests and at the World Test Championship. England are #1 in ODIs and T20s. It does matter that they try to cement their status as the best white ball side in the world, beat India in India, and then win a World T20. So I do think they've got to bear in mind that they're not going to get this forever.
Daljit, well, Charu said, despite the bio-bubble situation and all the pressure, what matters in the end is the performance. And one of the men, personal, in the Indian team who really stood out in this series was Ravi Ashwin with 32 wickets, 189 runs. He also got the man of the series, but there were a few other contenders to the man of the series choice. Do you think Ashwin was the right choice?
There were others too, like Pant was there, Rohit Sharma was there, and others, no doubt, who pulled all together. But I would like to go back to the bubble situation. I think it worked very well for the Indians. Yesterday, after the end of the series, I was trying to count the support staff that was standing with the Indian team. I counted up to 15. Oh, that is hell of a lot. There is, see, earlier when we played, I had to train all by myself because I believed in fitness. It was not a team activity. Fitness was not a team activity, not for Indian team, not for state team. Now it is a team activity. There is a specialist for every aspect. People are helping you. You can see players like Sundar, players like Pant. They are better off for the, over the last few months because they have been handled well. They have been mentored well. All credit to Ravi Shastri and others, those who are looking after the boys. So I think the bubble really helped the Indian team to bind together. They feel together. They know their roles together. Number 7 batsmen are getting centuries. And everybody is playing his role. New bowlers are emerging. And youngsters like Akshar getting a break and making the best of it. So this bubble thing has really worked to India's advantage.